Oh, there we go. Hey, Brenda, you're back on.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Pratt. And thank you for coming in. I know you had very little notice this morning, so we sure appreciate you being there. Hey, everybody, we are going to be marking the mid-unit review, making sure that you are on track and that you know what you're doing, and then we'll get into our mid-unit exam. Of course, all of this is without a calculator. How do you guys like that picture of my husband up on the board?
Great.
I'm sure you guys just gave each other some weird looks, right? That's not really my husband. Don't worry, it's my son. No, it's not my son either. But do remember to practice good hygiene, everybody. So let's go ahead and take out those mid-unit reviews. We're going to mark this in class. I want you to please make sure that your pencil is out of reach. Put it on the floor, in your pencil case, or in your backpack, and do your marking in ink, please. So guys, as we go through, I'm going to be emphasizing how things are going to be marked on your exam, and we'll mark this review the same way. And I want you to ask questions as we go. So as soon as you see something that you need help on, please put up your hand, and Mrs. Pratt will be my eyes for me, and she'll let me know that there is a question. All right, so in the beginning here, and we do have a little section like this on our exam. In this section, everything is 1 mark, and there are no partial marks. It's all or nothing. So there's a possible 8 marks there. Now, just a few reminders for you. With our subtraction questions, it's easier if we change that to adding the opposite. And otherwise, remembering your rules for multiplying and dividing. Remember, it's a steadfast rule. If the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If the signs are different, your answer is negative. Guys, any questions in there for integers?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
one?
What's that question?
On number D, is the 10 supposed to be negative?
Yeah, that is negative 15 subtract negative 10.
Okay.
Anything else there, guys?
Nope.
Okay, let's go on to number 2. So when we're adding or subtracting fractions, remember you have to get a common denominator. So here's how these ones get marked. This step where there is a common denominator, that's worth 1 mark. And then your answer here is worth half a mark. And getting your answer into the best form is worth another half a mark. So that becomes a 2-mark question. Now remember that there are more than one common denominator that could be used. I think in this question, probably everybody used 15, so we probably don't need to discuss it there. Okay, so on the next question, we're going to do that same marking. So you're looking for the common denominator, gives you 1 mark. Your answer gives you half a mark. And your answer in the best form gives you another half a mark. So as we go through and mark this, this is also a good reminder of what you need to show when you're doing your exam today, and it will be marked exactly the same. Guys, I apologize for the hammering here. I can't seem to find a room in the house to get away from it. So any questions so far there with those first two and the marking?
No.
Okay, so we'll keep going. More subtraction questions here. So again, same marking. Now in this case, you don't need to convert your answer, so this answer will just be 1 mark. And it's the same thing on D. We don't have to break up into 0.5 and 0.5 because it's a proper fraction. And then with this one, let's go 1 mark there and 1 mark there. Okay, with F, we're going to go 1 mark for getting rid of the mixed numbers, 0.5 for your original answer, and 0.5 for your answer in the best form. Any marking questions there, guys? So let's see where we're at here. So we had 8. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So guys, give yourself a total on this full page out of 20. So any marking questions or how to do it questions?
I don't see any. Nope.
Okay. Okay, so in here with our division, we want to get rid of mixed numbers again. So our first mark is going to be, we'll go half a mark for getting rid of the mixed number. We'll go, you know what? It's not everybody's going to have that one. Let's back this up here a bit, guys, because we have different ways of doing this question. Let's go 1 mark there and 1 mark for your answer. And on this one, I'm going to do a little bit of work here for you. So we would have, first of all, guys, here we'll go 1 mark for the changing it to multiplying and flipping your fraction. And our second mark will be for after we've done the multiplying, where you have negative 10 over 3. That will be a 0.5. And then for your final answer here, another 0.5. So a total of 2 marks still there.
Okay, Mrs. Booth, we have a question.
Sure.
The final answer should be negative.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I needed to add that on there. Thank you. And for I, back to subtraction. So we're going 1 mark for getting the common denominator and 1 mark for the answer. And same thing on this guy. We'll go 1 mark for the common denominator. We'll go 0.5 for the answer and another 0.5 for the best form of the answer. Okay, and for K, we're just going to go 1 mark for the answer. No partial marks there, just 1 mark. For L, we're going to go 1 mark for converting the mixed numbers, and 1 mark for the answer. And then for M, 1 mark for multiplying by the reciprocal, and 1 mark for the answer. Okay, and for N, we'll do that same marking. 1 mark for multiplying by the reciprocal, 1 mark for the answer. Any questions in those last few? And
No.
let's just get our total here, guys.
Here's one.
Oh yeah, question?
Go back to
To I?
yeah.
Do you just need to see it, or do you have a question about it?
No, just like explain the answer.
Yeah. So once we get the common denominator, is that part okay?
Yeah.
So the work is really happening here in the numerator. So what I have going on there, I'm picturing the tokens in the bucket. So remember that we're going to change subtraction to adding the opposite. So up here, I would have multiplied by 4 when I got my common denominator. But instead of subtracting a negative 28, I added the opposite. So I'm adding a positive 28. So in the bucket, I've got 15 negative tokens and 28 positive tokens. And so those are going to battle out. The positives are going to win the battle. And to see how many positives are left, what I'm actually doing is subtracting. So I'm figuring out how many of the positives would be left after the canceling out or after the battle. And there would be 13 positive tokens left. Is that what you needed there?
Yeah, I just forgot to find the opposite.
Okay. Any other questions here, guys? Let's figure out how many marks we've given on this page. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that top section of the page, give yourself a subtotal out of 15. Okay, and when you get to your BEDMAS questions, like in number 3, make sure that you are showing every single calculation that you do. So the very first thing we had to do was get this 16, and that's worth half a mark. Still working in the brackets here, we get 2, which is worth half a mark. And then our final answer for 1 full mark. So this is out of 2 marks total.
Okay, we have a question, Brenda.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 4 plus 16 isn't 2. I think it's 20.
Oh, what did I do there? Lost my 0. Thank you very much. Okay, so then we're going to have 60 divided by 20, which is 3. And 3 subtract 7 is negative 4. Thank you for catching that, you guys. Okay, and then let's go on to B. So working inside the brackets first to get the 8. There's half a mark. And our next job is multiplying to get 56 for half a mark. And then we had to divide next to get 7. There's half a mark. And our final answer, half a mark. So 2 marks again here on number 3. Pardon me. Okay, any questions on B?
No.
All right, so continuing on here. So guys, remember on a question like C, you've got to figure out what's on top and what's on bottom. Almost like two separate BEDMAS questions are happening here. So let's go for the 20, you're getting half a mark. And for the 18, you're getting half a mark. We're giving half a mark for the negative 40, half a mark for the negative 10, and a full mark for the positive 4. So 3 possible marks there. And guys, that's very much like one of the questions on your exam. Do you have any questions about that one?
No.
Okay, so let's do a subtotal on this page. Out of 22. Okay, and then taking numbers from the number line, we'll go 1 mark each. And for A, when you give your fraction, we'll accept either the improper fraction or the mixed number. Either one is okay there. Any questions about 4?
No.
Okay, and then listing numbers from smallest to largest. You see on the side here, what I did to figure this out was I used a number line. I found if I put them on the number line, it was a little bit easier. Even though it's just a rough sketch there, it does help. So give yourself 1 mark if you got these in the correct order from smallest to largest. Okay, and then let's take a look at 6 and 7. All we're going to mark there is just your final answer. But let's make sure we understand those questions. We do have 1 or 2 like that on our exam. So do we want to walk through either one of 6 or 7?
Are you all good? Yes.
Can you walk through 6?
Through 6? Sure. So Samantha found $56 and put it in her purse. Well, there's a typo there, guys, which already contained $20. So what I did right here is I found out it's kind of like you're taking a running total of how much money she has as you kind of go through the story. So right now she's got $76 in her purse. And then it says later she spent 1/4 of her money on lunch. So I took the 76 divided by 4 to find 1/4. So she spent $19 on lunch. And then the question is, how much did she have left? So remember, she had $76 in her purse. Subtract the 19 that she spent on lunch to get the 57 that is left. Everybody okay with number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nodding heads.
Okay, and how about number 7, guys? Hands up if you'd like to see number 7, please.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do a little walkthrough of 7. When Jonah first began raking the grass, it was 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature rose 3 degrees. So again, I'm keeping track of everything that happens throughout this whole story. So starting at 15, and then it rose, so it increased by 3. So now it's 18 degrees. Before he finished his work, the temperature dropped. So now we have to subtract, dropped by half. So my first job was, it's 18 right now, divide by 2 to find half. So then 18 dropped by 9. So 18 subtract 9, it's 9 degrees at the end. Any questions there, Mrs. Pratt?
There's a question.
Do we have to show our work for these ones, like 6 and 7? No.
It kind of did for the way that we're marking it right now. No, we're just marking the final answer. So even if you didn't show work, you could still get full marks here. Any other questions for 7?
No, I think so good.
Okay, guys, and then number 8, we're going 1 mark for each one. And what I want you to remember here, guys, is that when we're talking about rational, remember by definition, these are the ones that can be written as a fraction. Remember that rational numbers contain natural numbers, whole numbers, integers. And when it comes to decimals, the type of decimal numbers that you'll see here are the repeating decimals and the terminating decimals. And for irrational, remember irrational means not rational. Irrational are the non-repeating and non-terminating decimals. Okay, so let's take a look. I know the ones that used to get us were these square root ones. So here where 49 is a perfect square and we do the square root of it, we get a whole number, and a whole number is rational. Here where this is not a perfect square, if I try to do the square root of it, I get one of those non-terminating, non-repeating decimals, kind of like pi, and that is irrational. Are there any other ones there that we should clear up, folks?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for number 4, do we have to write the fraction in a smallest form or simplest form?
When you're just classifying, no, you don't. So for just classifying, as soon as you see a fraction, instantly you can say rational, because that's almost the definition, right? It's any number that can be written as a fraction. And so you don't even have to worry about the form. All you have to do is just say it's rational.
Okay, there's another one.
I meant like number 4 at the very top of the page.
Oh, okay, hang on. No, for number 4, we said we would accept either one. You could give the improper or the mixed number. We would accept either one. Is that what you meant there?
For B, you wrote -3 and a.
Oh, so for B, what do you have?
I have -6/10.
Give yourself half a mark there. Okay, so guys, any questions on number 8? Okay, and then for number 9, we're going to give 1 mark for each row that is correct. So remember, you have to get the entire row correct in order to get that mark.
Is there any questions on that?
So we have 7 possible marks there. Oh, sorry, I'm on to a new page here. Hang on, guys. Let's subtotal our last page here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I count 17 there. And so let's get our grand total here, guys. Add them up with me as we go. So 7 plus 17 is 24. Plus 22 is 46. That'd be 66 for our total. All right, folks, here's what you have to do with your total. Please close your booklet, and on the very back page of your booklet, I want you to put your name, first name, last initial, and please put your mark out of 66. You're gonna put this down on the floor so that Mrs. Pratt can come around and collect your mark while you're writing your exam.
Okay, there was one question.
Oh, sorry, we'll back it up here.
Could you just go back to number 9? I didn't get a chance to see it.
Any questions there for number 9, folks?
Looks all good. Okay.
All right, so guys, just again with the instructions what to do with that mark. On the back of your booklet, you're going to put your mark out of 66 and your name. Make sure you include your last initial or your last name as well. Turn that on, put it on the floor so that Mrs. Pratt can see that mark. And then go ahead and clear off your desk. Keep your pencil out and your eraser, and you're going to be starting your exam now.
Did they get the scan form sheet or with the bubbles on
I'm
it?
going actually just hand out the exam for now.
Okay.
You can get started on that, Mrs. Pratt, and I'm just going to give them some instructions that will apply to you as well. So guys, you're going to do all of your work right in the exam booklet. And then after checking all of your answers and you're happy with your answers, then you're going to ask for the zip grade answer sheet. And you'll record your multiple choice answers onto the zip grade answer sheet. Now, when you do that, make sure you fill in the bubbles completely. Fill them in pretty dark and no smudges. So that's why we always wait until we've checked all of our answers before we record them on that sheet, is because if we erase and leave smudges, it's not always easy to figure out what your actual answer is. So when you're all finished, you'll hand in both the exam booklet and the answer sheet. Make sure your name is on both with your last initial. And if there's time left, you will be able to work on something from another class. You could read for English, or you could work on a Sudoku puzzle that Mrs. Pratt has for you. Guys, any questions before we start the exam?
Any questions? Yes.
There's no numbers.
No numbers.
Some of them have no numbers to pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's blank.
yeah, some of them just have A, B, C, or D, but they don't have answers. They don't have numbers beside them.
Oh no, I had somebody else at school copy this for me. I wonder if they didn't have the same program that I have on my computer, maybe.
Yeah, because there's like the first one, it says choose the answer that is not equal to the other three numbers, and it's just A, B, C, D, and there's nothing.
All right, so guys, what you'll do is leave those questions for now. I'm going to get the answer. I'll get the exam booklet up on my screen here in a minute, and we'll fill in anything that needs to be filled in.
She has it on her. She'll put it up there,
Yeah.
Steve.
But for right now, go ahead and get started on the questions that aren't missing the numbers. The very back page is written response, so perhaps the back page is a good place to start. But give me a moment and I'll get that up here right away. All right, grade nines, I'm sorry to interrupt. Everybody take a look up at the board here. And let's quickly fill in the numbers that didn't show up for whatever reason that was. Okay, and I'm going to keep moving here. So, Mrs. Pratt, you let me know if I've gone too quickly here, okay?
Okay.
Do you guys need anything here for number 3?
Yes.
Please, I don't want to rush you guys. Please make sure you're careful in writing down the missing numbers. I don't want to throw you off with any wrong numbers here.
Okay. What number? So 4 they need to write down.
4 they need? Everybody
Yeah, they
done with
need to write
3?
all the letters for 4.
Okay. Make sure you take your time and watch those negatives, everybody. They're hard, I should say they're easy to miss if you're not really paying attention. Mrs. Pratt, you'll let me know when we're done with number 4?
Number 2 still needs time.
Okay, we done?
No.
No, not yet.
So guys, make sure that you look at your number 4 and that you have, don't want you to miss anything here. Make sure you've got a negative here, negative here, negative here, 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 that you didn't miss any of those. Are we ready for number 5?
No, yes. Okay, we better call out. We're not sure. Okay, everybody's done. Number 5 and number 6.
Once again here with 5, everybody, make sure you've got your negative on B and your negative on D. Are we done with number 5?
5, we're done. We're up to 6. Some of them are already written 6.
Okay, be very careful here on 6, everybody. Make sure you've got your negatives here and here.
Did you show the B? You just scroll up a little so they
Oh,
can
yeah.
see. Okay.
So after you've written them down, you guys take a moment and do a double check.
Okay, are we done with 6? Okay, we need 8. 7 we have. So
7, 7 is good.
7's good.
Here, these are the number 8. Mrs.
Okay,
And
we have that.
ready for 9? 9, everything's showing up on 9.
We have 9. We need the written response. We need number 2 and 3.
Okay, so number 1 is okay. Does it compare the same way, guys?
So it has, yeah, A, B, C. Yeah.
Oh, there's no Wait, I need F.
Oh, it's just
So
divide.
the signs are missing.
The sides are, so F is divide by 6. Oh, and E is divide by 7 instead of multiply by 7.
Okay, guys, let's just take a moment here to just check over carefully with number 1.
Okay. Okay, except for E is minus 21 divided by 7. Oh. And F is minus 24 divided by negative 6.
Mrs. Pratt, I think we'll skip the answer sheet
Okay.
because this has taken up so much time. We'll just get everybody just to circle their answers right on their booklet.
Okay.
Are we done with number 1?
Yeah. Now number 2.
So again, guys, noticing that there's a negative here and a negative here. I really apologize, grade 9s. I have no idea why this wouldn't have printed for another teacher. I'm going to scroll. You guys let me know if I've gone too far.
what letters, you have to get the centimeter read first. Okay, can you scroll up so they can see A and B, or scroll down, sorry. Okay, so does everybody have that? And the speak now? Okay, everybody's done E? So, everybody's written it down? Okay, so now 3. Okay, there's a question. Oh,
Can you just go back up to the chapter?
okay. And so just go back up to E. And your question was? And D. So do you, Mrs. Booth, do you want me to record these, their scores from their practice books?
Yes. So now that they're back to the exam, you can go around and record those scores. Students, you're just don't worry about getting your answer sheet. Just circle your multiple choice best answer right on the booklet. And I sure apologize. I have no idea why that would happen. I am going to turn off my microphone so that the hammering isn't bothering you guys, but I'm standing by for any questions that might arise. And Mrs. Pratt, would you send me a text and we can communicate by phone? My number is in the subplans.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, everybody.